Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
You are listening to the Lost Minds. You say it, that sounds better.
You are listening to the Lost Minds podcast.
Let's get this session started with a deep breathing exercise. And by deep breathing exercise, I mean, see on the inside.
Hello. What are you doing? Just making a podcast. Bet you cool.
Welcome back to the Lost Minds podcast, where today we have
a special guest. His name is Bubby Boo. He'll be coming in a second, but right now it's me and Admir, your hosts.
Yep.
Of the Lost Minds podcast.
That's what I was going to say. And we're just waiting for, we call him Late McGee.
Late McGee.
Because he's always late to everything.
Tardy farty.
He's late to waking up in the morning. He's late to waking up late in the morning. He's late to going to the bathroom. That's why we call him bedwetter.
He always thinks he's pregnant because he always has late periods.
Yep. That last part might be a little exaggerated.
I mean,
And the part before that, and before that, except for he's late today, that's for sure. He got all his gear set up here, though, with us.
yeah.
And now, isn't it weird that we're, like, recording ourselves and putting it on the internet?
Everything's weird if you actually think about it. Like the fact that it's weird that you don't have to remember to breathe.
I have to.
You know?
Breathe. Exhale. But when you start thinking about it, though, you got to keep doing it, or else you're going to die.
Everybody's thinking right now while they're driving.
Using their 2 brain cells they need to drive, because their 3 million are concentrated on their cell phone and what sweet text message they're about to get.
The world is weird. Everything is weird. Why do we have to wear clothes? You were born without any clothes on.
Not me. I came out with a pair of shorts and a T-shirt that says...
Well, I think that's just weird as shit, dude. It's like if you wear the shit that you were born with right now outside in public, you're going to jail.
Yep. Your birthday suit.
You can't, just be human.
Just can't be stark butt naked.
Nobody likes butts.
You'd have to shave yourself, too, like every hair off your body.
Yeah, so everybody, I don't know.
And then you would be...
Then it wouldn't be so bad.
No. I think people would be like, oh, he's probably...
poor guy, doesn't have any hair on his body. Look at him, he doesn't even have eyebrows.
Yes. We test tube, baby.
And here's our guest.
Brick.
The one
Bubby
and
Boo.
only. We have questions for you today.
Yep.
Special guest referee, Brick.
The guest that edits it, so you only hear it from this far on.
Welcome to the Lost Minds podcast, where you will be our
This is the starting
first
point.
guest.
Yep.
Welcome. This is where you'll be first hearing this episode.
This is the beginning of the episode right now.
Oh, wow.
This is our director's cut.
Behind the scenes. That was one of my favorite things back before I even started listening to podcasts. I like listening to watching the movie and then watching it with either the director's cut or...
It has to be a good movie, though. You can't
Yeah,
be
you
fucking
can't just
around
pick
with...
any shitty movie.
I love the Jackass ones. They were my favorite when they would just sit there and
They should have just made those like that.
They just did commentary. It was the best.
You know what I mean?
Because there's so much more that you never even realize.
This is the 15th outtake where we had to get this one,
Yeah, or even one of them was funny because they're with the one when they're in Japan and they're all cruising around in the little suits and all in the little furry suits or whatever, and they're running around.
Oh, in the panda suits?
Yeah, and knocking stuff over and stuff. And they're the funny part about that is that we had Brad Pitt for the evening, and he's that was the skit we had. It's let's have Brad Pitt here. What do? We put him in a fucking suit. It's in the cuts of it, when you look back at it, Brad Pitt's one of the people that are in the panda suits running around. And it's what the fuck?
So you wouldn't even have known it was Brad
I
Pitt.
had no idea.
That's pretty badass.
What the fuck, dude?
He wanted to
It could have been any
I wonder
person.
how much shit we've seen that something like that happens. Because in Infinity War and in the last Thor Ragnarok, Matt Damon is in it.
Matt Damon.
But he's an apocalyptic man baby, right?
What is he
No, he's just
Martian?
like a side character.
I was at the Mars area.
It's pretty funny.
Because, like in Deadpool, you know, when he's like, the invisible man, and you don't see him the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden,
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, fucking, sorry.
If you haven't seen Deadpool 2, what's wrong with you?
I know that, well, outside of that, I mean, I really have no idea what plays in movie theaters. I watch the trailers on YouTube is kind of maybe the thing that hooks
Do you want
me,
to know
but-
something crazy about movie theaters?
What?
If you go to a movie theater on Friday the 13th,
It's free?
around 9 o'clock, 9:03 exactly,
AM?
and you go to the number 3 movie theater, it's playing nothing but white noise, static, with weird sounds coming from the speakers.
That's cool.
It's a lie.
Every movie theater, no joke. Friday the 13th on Auditorium 3.
You know how much money they would lose out if they, like...
Dude, nobody knows why they do it, though, but, like...
Gave away a theater for their Friday night. It's like their cash cow and
So,
stuff.
hey, everybody, watch this. Oh, nobody's in here? Well, there's noise.
The Berenstain Bears is sold out? What do you mean
It's the
sold out?
Berenstain Bears, dude.
Braunstein Bears.
Brownstein Bears.
Brownstein Bears.
Brownstein Bears.
Dude, that
Why are
means-
they called Brownstein Bears? Wow. They wear pants. They leave brown stains
The way they cook.
because they're bears.
Dude, that Mandela effect was pretty interesting to me because, like...
Did you research it?
A little bit more, but not as much because it was kind of...
It was
the way I looked
starting
at,
to pull you in like a black hole.
No.
And you didn't want to get down that conspiracy.
For me, it just kind of solidified the herd mentality because that's essentially what I seen from it is like large groups of people remember things differently, and they're like, no, it's not like that. And without the internet, I fucking wonder how it would be now, dude. Like, you know, before then, I mean, I can't even remember how many times we'd be arguing, and they're like, nope, that's just how it is, and you're like, fuck, dude. Can't even just be like, Google it, you know, look at it.
I
just-
remember when that first started happening. That was a game changer.
Yeah, I know, everyone's like, wait, what? All these people that were once thought they were smart were no longer smart.
Nope. Because you just took it on their word and the fact that they were like a higher reign of class than you.
Yeah, they would shut you
The
down
more
like that.
popular person, you're like,
No,
yeah,
you're dumb.
probably right.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. I read it in a textbook that was
You're
12
wrong.
years old when we were in school.
And people even doing that nowadays, though, where they'll be like,
Yeah, but now they're called trolls.
yeah. Or if you look, even with information now with the internet, you can see it on a lot of the podcasts, but people will get it and one person will argue one side, one person will argue other side, and then really they just end up arguing information. Well, where'd you get your facts? Where'd you get your
It's not
facts?
really
You know?
arguing information. It's arguing opinion.
Or when it gets
Mostly
down
what
to
they
it,
want.
Anything
right.
though, you could put that in any category. For instance,
Exactly.
like let's say you listen to a doctor. A doctor tells you, "Hey, the reason this hurts is because of this." And now one of your buddies has that same issue that you had, and he's like, "Man, dude, I'm complaining about so and so," and you're like, "Dude, the doctor told me that it was this," and he goes, "How do you know though?"
yeah, that's different.
Well,
though,
I
'cause
heard it
each
from a
body's
doctor.
different, though. That's like being like, you know,
Well, you
the
can take
movie
it from a
starts at 9,
scientist, too.
and then someone walks over there. The movie starts at 8, you know, and then they're like, the movie starts at 8, and if you couldn't pull it up, you know, like back in the day, you just had to show up. But those were like a cemented thing. Like when it comes to your body, you know, if someone's like,
Well,
But why don't you just?
you might be allergic to peanuts, and then everyone's like, dude, I had to get some more peanut oil, dude. I just take a sip of peanut oil every day.
No, I'm talking about the whole argument fact. Like, where'd you get your information from? For instance, let's say we were talking about space or whatever, and you're like, dude, did you know there's different types of stars? There's dwarf stars, and there's red stars, and giant stars. And I'm like, well, where'd you hear that from? Well, a scientist who studies stars told me. Yeah, but did you go and study it yourself? Or are you just taking his word? Because now I'm taking your word because you took somebody else's word. Did you actually go and study it yourself? It's like, well, I don't have to study it. He's studying it. How do you know he's right?
Well, essentially, even then, though, like,
Technically,
that's what everybody does, though.
That's how all...
There's not like you're not out there digging, you know, whole fucking holes and breaking rocks and being like, yes, we got.
But how do we know that guy's right?
aluminum 7?
Well-
you know, that's faith, right?
Might as well start believing in Jesus, boys and girls.
It's
If you want to know the actual age of the planet, this is what I tell you. Get yourself a little fucking digging spoon. Go out there and do some geology.
Count how much
what you do
layers of
is when they hand you one hand and it has the red pill in it, and then they hand you the other one that has the blue pill. You fucking take both of them.
You just die.
What would happen? You're just like, you just become Neo, maybe. I don't know. You're like a rift between the Matrix.
No, your brain would just pop.
No, it wouldn't.
Like a
You're
zit.
like living. You're like, you become transcendental, or what would it be? I mean, you become a virus. You become a Agent Smith.
Transcendent?
Or I don't even know what it'd be. on a computer.
translucent, so they can see through you.
Transparent.
Oh no, that was translucent.
I thought it was like because transcendental meditation is when they like supposedly like remote view somewhere else. So they'll be sitting there, you know. That's where the people would do that stuff with the moon, where people have all the weird stories from remote viewing the moon or whatever.
That's all fake.
I'd like to see someone do that, like right in front of me.
I don't know. Shaking.
Admir just takes his wallet.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'd strip down butt naked, and then when they came back, I'd be like, dude, you did this to me. I don't know what happened, but I'm butt naked right now.
And even that's hard to believe because, like, even so, you say, like, they didn't even... They're experiencing it first. So, like, I'd watched a meme. It was a Curb Your meme of this guy. He was bringing a median over to have a median come in and check out the area of the house that was, like, haunted and stuff like that. And he wrote up some, like, crazy story to say this house was haunted and, like, made up a story about, like, a ghost and whatever that's haunted the manor. And tried to have a few medians come, and then she had one median come, and then they were in the rooms, and he's like, do you see him here? And they're like, yes. And she's like, oh. And then she's like, oh, like talking for it and stuff, you know, and saying stuff like Johnny and stuff like that. And there's a man Johnny here, and she's like, yeah. She's like, I don't know what did he say? Did he say anything? And they're like, yeah, he was trying to communicate to her. She's like, yeah, it was the ghost or whatever. The next day, the guy like prints out this little paper, and he's like, I'd like to show you something. She's like, here's the facts about this manor. He's like, I have it on the website. He's like, it's posted on the website. It has a couple of names of why it's haunted and who's in there. And she's like, oh, you have some facts there, huh? And he's like, I've completely made this up. And there had the names of the ghosts and the shit that she was using in the thing. But she had fucking went ahead and read it and fucking went ahead and researched it a little bit before time. And was like, yeah, I can come over there and check out your ghosts and shit. The guy totally caught her in a scam, dude. It was so funny.
What happened?
He just plays the Curb Me, and she's like, oh, you did a good job. Yeah, all right. And she's like looking at the camera, and she's like, all right, we're done here, you know, and stuff like that, just trying to end it.
She's like, cut it.
And I was like, you're psychic, turn him off. Or whatever, right? Like,
I would have been like, dude, there's a ghost in here that possesses people, and he just tries to go for the freaking groin area. Like, it's crazy. And then she comes in, and you're like, you didn't even, I'm like, you're not very convincing.
Yeah.
You weren't going for the groin area.
Yeah, right. Admir's luck. She'd be like, well, I can't come, but my friend can. It's this big fat dude.
I'd be like, whatever, dude. Hey, ghost going for the groin area.
Either way, I'll get my groin touch.
Wow, yeah.
It's soft and squishy.
I'd be like, but the ghost only likes specific people, about 5'4", blonde.
Naming her out. But I find that stuff so funny, dude, and especially with like psychics and stuff. So even when people start getting to tell you information on stuff, sometimes it's funny too when feelings get involved, because it's like that saying or whatever of who needs facts when you have feelings.
What would be great is if someone actually was like possessed by a witch demon or something, and they caught it, and we were all, God's real, and then we all became religious, and we all held hands.
It's like fucking the Grinch. Yeah, I got lined up and stuff.
Put up a freaking spell barrier. Do you know what that whole movie's about?
Yeah.
Spell barrier?
They're all trying
monster.
They're all trying to put up a spell barrier to keep the Grinch out, but it's too late. He's already in.
I'd heard, like, I guess with that story, you had every story's got like a good and a bad guy and everything like that. And now I've heard people like,
what is that called? Like the Grimm Brothers Grimm or some shit like that?
oh, that show?
Isn't there like some sort of?
There's a new show called
There's
Grimm.
the Brothers Grimm. It does have
like
that.
all those stories are in like some sort of fucking book.
Yeah, the Brothers Grimm.
Is that what it is?
I believe so, yeah.
Is that like Dr. Seuss book or something?
No,
but it's like
it's Rapunzel, it's Snow White, it's
No. It's
the
Red,
bad
little,
ones, right?
Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, it's
And,
like
like,
the
The Three Little Pigs, all
Yeah.
that shit, but they're twisted ends.
Wait, what is that one called?
But I think they're the original
It's called
versions.
the Brothers Grimm, but I'm
So,
not
Is it the one with Matt Damon and shit, dude?
Nah, dude.
Matt Damon's in the Brothers Grimm, dude.
Is he?
I'm pretty sure, dude. We're gonna have another moment like last time with the Shazam.
Well, it's
I would've
called
thought-
Grimm's Fairy Tales.
Grimm's Fairy Tales.
Oh.
That's what it is. It was close.
Yeah, but Brothers Grimm is a movie too, isn't it?
It's a movie and a TV show
it's
or
called
something like
it's
that.
Brothers Grimm. It's the original folk and fairy tales of the Brothers Grimm.
The original, so it's the original OG.
Is that Matt Damon in there?
No.
Who's actor in that?
There's no actor. It's a freaking book.
That would be
Whatever,
funny
dude.
if
Go to the
foretold
movie.
Matt Damon.
No, there is a movie, but it does have Matt Damon in it, but it's like
Then
the
you
fake
can't tell
version
me
of it.
no. Wait, what do you mean fake version? It's all fake. It's fairy tales.
No, those fairy tales are
Like,
real.
This is
Yeah,
the
it
real
could've been
version of
Hey.
the fake fairy tales because those ones they got the facts wrong. They didn't research the right book.
There's so many universes out there. You know it's real.
Well, that's where it gets back to like that fight with the facts, though, because everyone's like, everyone's getting it off the internet. Everyone's pulling their facts from the same place, but then people can discredit somebody else.
What
Like,
if here's a crazy
how do you
thought.
know your guy studied better than the other dude?
What if our internet got mixed up with another universe's internet?
I hope you guys didn't hear that.
Like,
That's my cell phone.
That'd be nuts.
that's the idea of the Mandela effect, though, too, right? They said that like it somewhere it crossed over. That's why it changed
know.
or some shit.
I don't know, but you're right now because of the Mandela effect.
I know it's like slowly disappearing. It's like Back to the Future. I'm like looking at the photo. I'm like, oh man, my hand's like disappearing and shit. Fuck. Because I originally thought it'd be in Back to the Future. It's like 2020, isn't it, or 2018 or something when he goes Back to the Future and he's actually in the future.
I thought it was 2022. No,
Was it 2022?
it was like
It was-
2016 or 2015.
Because the internet,
Wasn't it?
of course, the internet's just the most awesome thing ever, and so people were kept like taking it and just photoshopping the date on it. Oh, it was 2000, it was whatever, but I want to say it was like 2020. It's like right now where you should be having like hoverboards and flying cars, and according to Back to the Future,
talking about like the end of the world.
according to Back to the Future, I think right now
It was
isn't
2015.
20. Oh, what? Oh my God, 2015, dude. Dude, we were like in the Stone Age back then. That's what.
Yeah, but
3 years
what
ago?
was it? We talked about it one time ago where the calendar is actually off by like 100 days or some shit, or like
No,
or 10 years.
No way, dude. Because that guy, one of those emperors, right? It was in
New Groove?
Wasn't he in like
Oh, that's
800
right,
and
yeah.
something, and then he wanted to be the ruler of the.
Yeah,
1000?
that's what it was.
So it's
and
like
they changed it like
100
200
and-
years or something.
Yeah.
So we're off.
You're
Like,
trying to prove the Bible. That was his last time. You're like, that's why they're 700 years old. Because really, he was like 70. But yeah, we're moving it up. But I don't want to be in this fucking low. Put a zero on those, bitch. I'll be in the thousands. They'll be in the hundreds. Fucking no one reads this shit anyways. The next thing you know, fucking half of them.
I know how.
We-
That's the only way anybody gets their information.
well, that's apparently what happened is they changed the timeline. So we're technically on the wrong timeline. We're in the year like 1770 or some shit right now. We're not actually in the 2000s.
That's the
Because
craziest
you
one that
fucked with the timeline.
I find that crazy they could even put a timeline. It's like, how the fuck would we even know? Yeah, I guess because that's that thing.
before
with-
Christ and
That-
after Christ.
That's exactly right. Basically, though, because it's with the thing when people are like, oh man, people die in threes. Well, when did you start counting? Like when the very, very first person, or like now because the number's off and it's probably the same.
Dude, the weird thing is like
When did you start doing it?
I was looking at memes the other day where like Roman soldiers sitting there and the Roman soldier's like, why did we call it 20 BC? And he's like, I don't know. Because they're living 20 years before the death of Christ. So he's like, why do we call it 20 BC? And the other Roman soldier's like, I don't know.
What's coming?
And dude, and with as much like
Why are we
fuckery
counting
that
down?
they were doing, I don't even like after you started to saying how there was like the king was like, I want to be in the thousands or whatever. My whole timelines and all that stuff, I was just like, all right, yeah, that's all wrong. Because
Yeah, it's
dude,
out the window.
I imagine everybody did that, like Caesar and stuff like that. We're gonna start our the Caesarian calendar or whatever.
you
It's
get
just
a,
like-
a monk from China that just shows up and he's like, oh yeah, the number 13 is unlucky. Oh, it's the year 1713 or something like that.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
we skipped that.
913. We gotta. All right, it's 914. Like just that simple.
It really is, and it's a matter of just like
And then what makes people think that the Mayan calendar is actually synced perfectly with the...
Because the
great- the
Is it the
aligns-
Gregorian calendar? What do they
aligns
call
with
it?
the
Is it the
stars and
Gregorian?
the sun, and all that shit.
it would be the Gregorian calendar, which is crazy because
So what makes them think those two calendars are synced exactly day for day? Oh, in 2001, the end of time on the Mayan calendar
2001
is
hasn't
exact
came
same.
yet.
I don't know. But the weird
Technically,
thing though, the Gregorian the calendar we
Yeah,
use now
It's
though.
17.
But what
something
made
right now.
people think that the calendars were synced exactly, perfectly? Like, oh, it's going to end in 2001 or whatever.
They thought it was, but it wasn't because 2001 came and went. And
But it
we're
wasn't
still
the year
alive.
2001. The year
Exactly.
2001 hasn't even come yet. We're
So
still
they
200
all
years away.
missed it.
And that's why I'm wondering if they're basing it off the Gregorian calendar, which based it
No,
off
they're
their
basing
calendar.
it off of AD and BC and whatnot.
Because the calendar and the time
But
and
that's
everything
off.
we use now is based off the Sumerians, and the Sumerians are thousands of years older than the Mayans and shit, and like they're the oldest known civilization with written in some form of society
But that just
we
goes
know.
to months, right?
Yes, it does.
12 months.
So time, our month schedule, What else did we get from them?
So it has
The
nothing
days
to
of the
do with
week.
timeline, though, right? So you can just throw that in anywhere, really.
Yeah, like even if you look at it now, we have the BCE, before Common Era, after Common Era. It's like, what the fuck? But it's like even us, we're already kind of doing it a little bit. And that's why I feel like in the future we're gonna have like before and after internet. Because, dude, I think the internet's like kind of like some kind of
BE and AE.
yeah, something that took on its own life.
And
Or
it's going to
something.
be AI and just AI.
Oh, yeah, it's I.
Because it's all it is.
For some reason, I'm thinking E for Internet Explorer. I don't know.
What
You
if
can't be thinking about that no
the
more.
computers, the AI, all got smart and they knew aliens were going to come back because they think the humans are just a project, so they just pretend to be humans or wipe out all humans,
Pretend
and
to be
battle it
humans.
out with aliens when they get here. That'd be a good movie.
That would, and that's kind of one of the ideas they use for the Matrix. That and like, they're making us redo it so that they can understand how either they came
How
to be,
not to fuck up.
how they came to be, or how things are. So like, yeah, or like basically how not to fuck up. Like how did it, so they basically say there are some sentient beings that are basically running this thing, and they're using humans as Let's take the Matrix version, using humans as batteries and stuff like that, and they're throwing them in the Matrix, and it's charging them or whatever. Let's say they're not as sinister that, like they just don't really need chargers, but they want to kind of get to a point where they're like, how did it get here, you know? And if maybe that's the robot's programming or something, where it has to figure it out, it would be, even if it was a simple one, it could just keep going. How would I have to do this? How would I do this?
Here's
Just
a-
running this simulation, you know?
Here's a real mindfuck to that. The people that were woken up in the Matrix movie, they were actually woken up in a simulation of being woken up. They were never actually woken up. The computers were testing them to see what would happen if they did wake up. Would they rebel against them or not? All
it's
those
like
people never
Inception.
actually woke up. They were
Oh, in
still
there?
in the computer.
Damn.
Except they thought they were out.
So are we
whenever-
ever going to get an Inception 2 or what?
I don't know, dude.
Fucking, or Matrix 6. I'm just kidding. Dude, as far as, like, even with the Inception and Matrix, I think that would be a cool, like, crossover.
Ooh, that'd be nuts.
Because after you start going through those dreams, you start getting into those levels of the dreams and stuff like that, and then, like, at the end, you know, you think you're
I wonder if you
dreaming,
could break
this
it.
ain't even fucking real life. You're
Break
in a
the
Matrix.
fourth wall.
You'd have to spin a top.
I was gonna say, I was just gonna bring that up. I'm like, it probably will never have a sequel, will they? Because like, isn't that how it ended? It just
Some say
spinning?
the top's still spinning till this day.
Yes, like the
Because they
war.
They were asleep or something? They were actually in a dream?
I don't know. It
Yeah.
like kind of looks like it's about to fall, but they stop, and then roll credits. But if you go to DiCaprio's house, supposedly there's a top just spinning in one of his rooms.
That's possible,
Really?
dude.
Pretty nuts. Yeah, he
Just
just
a
has
little
like a
magnet
little
thing?
top spinning there somehow.
And can a magnet do that? A magnet will spin it forever?
I bet it could.
If you have like a powerful magnet under your house.
So I installed this 1,200-foot magnet under my home.
You just don't want to walk in here with yourself. Oh, it's too late. Wipes your phone.
Dude, the smallest magnets probably won't even be that bad. Have you seen those flower pots they have that like on a little magnet, and it like it's like a little pot and it fucking is hovering, so you can like, you know, stick your hand underneath it and the little air plants floating in the air. Dude, basically using hovering. You know, if you just tilt the magnets one a little bit to the one side and one to the other, you know, so they're kind of opposite, it'll make that little bit of rotation, you know.
Dude,
Or you could just have like the moon and just fucking apparently rotate, but just let us see the one side. It's just like,
dude, in my honest opinion, I think magnets are the answer to flying saucers. I think magnets are the answer to having a ship that could hover in the air and go left and right without...
All right, then solve light speed.
Easy. You take two magnets and you flip them both to the positive ends and they both push away from each other. Light speed.
I think it is something like that, but I think there's some kind of like perpetual motion, some kind of continuous force that's going like it, I think it was you who showed me a video of like this guy. I wanted to channel Smarter every day, but he gets the helicopter and he tries to do night trails and he's like running them or whatever, and it's a little drone helicopter. And when this guy like runs this thing at full speed, he's getting this helicopter to do the craziest shit. It flies upside down. It goes, whoa! It basically like it'll do like a C. It'll fly upside down and almost stop completely upside down, where the propellers are upside down and its little things are sticking in the air, and then stop like that and come right back, like a little weep, 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 and it'll like do that, and it'll circle. It'll stand straight and circle like this. But the reason why he can do it on the little thing is because a helicopter is actually designed perfectly to completely stay in the air with that spinning motion. It just kind of keeps it perfect.
Like an actual helicopter, an Apache could do the exact same thing. It
Yeah.
could flip upside down and do all these crazy G-forces. The only reason they don't do it is because the pilot inside would be turned into mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
With the G-forces.
Bitch.
No,
you just can't
the
handle
G-forces,
it.
you seriously can't handle it.
Because he's a bitch.
It's like even that, little bullshit video they sent out now, the Pentagon or whatever, of that, like, UFO, I guess they were following and stuff. And like, look at it, man. And when apparently they were, barely even turning. This thing was like circling the shit out of them so fast. And so they're barely turning as much as they possibly can to watch this thing. And it's flying around them like, what the fuck's this,
That's when you get your 50mm machine gun and lead it, kill fucking ET, drop him, take his technology, convert it, make some spaceships, and we will attack them head on. If we can't, we'll get, what is his name? Goldblum? Is he the guy in
Jeff Goldblum.
in Independence Day when he flies the freaking thing up there and like?
Oh, yeah.
That's him, all by himself.
Yep.
What about Will Smith, dude? He's in there, too.
Nah, we can't give him credit.
He's like,
He's the number one actor. Number two actor deserves some credit here and there, if you ask me.
he's the pilot.
I also kind of wanted to announce to everybody that's out there listening in the universe of Lost Minds podcast that we will be bringing back, possibly, there's like a 3% chance, the Lundenberg Adventures.
There's a 3% chance.
That's something. There's a chance. That's basically if you were in a football field and we threw a grain of salt off of the freaking Eiffel Tower, that grain of salt would land perfectly on the tip of your tongue, and you'd be like, salt. Or it could be something else salty that's coming off the top of the tower. I don't know. Who knows?
Salt.
It could be anything.
Slinging webs over here.
Slinging webs.
Little web slinger. Hey, these webs are very small.
You call yourself Spider-Man?
Dude, that'd be so funny. Yeah, I mean, just slinging webs. Like, the guy's like, I don't see anything. It's up here. I don't see no webs. This bitch is like a 2-3 inch connector from this pole. It's like, now that's some real web.
Dude, that would...
Dude, but the Lundenberg won't have any of that, but
It might.
it could be.
You
if-
never know, dude. That
I'm
shit
gonna
goes...
try to get it in there now.
I know. I'm just
Brian's
trying
like,
to play
dude,
it.
I'm going to be Spider-Man.
What you got to
Slinging
do
webs.
is you just need to listen to all the Lindenbergs and, of course, buy things through the Amazon link. But what you need to do is fund the Patreon page. Dig it. Or what was it called? Dig into the
I
center?
don't even think we have one. I'm
His
sure
dig into
some people have gone on there.
Because our
and
main
just, like,
narrator,
started-
our main guy, Snow, the guy that's doing the whole story, the DN that's taking us through it, he's stuck digging the hole. He's trying. He's doing the research for us. He's getting down there. He's trying to figure out what's down there.
Yep.
We got to
What
get him
tools
out of the
we
hole.
need.
We got to get him up here. Got to get him working on this instead of that. But
Apparently the Russians tried to dig a hole. They got like 800 meters or something down, and it got too hot. Their tools started to melt.
that'd be scary to me because
Yeah.
we were just talking about that with my grandma, because that well house, I was seeing the well busted over at that
Campfire?
property. And so I was like telling my brother, but I was bullshitting him because right below where that little tank is, where I think it's the tank that's on top that's busted, is there's a little it's probably the size of a metal garbage can, and it goes 130 something feet down in there.
Dude, so you can fall in there and never be found?
Well, and it has a little, basically, and so who knows how big the well is in there, because they basically just drill into this huge empty cavern underneath there, then tap it in and just drop a motor down in there, and so they have it all the way down in there, and so you guys have to hoist it up and change it or whatever. But it's kind of got like a little piece of metal, and I was telling my brother and stuff like that. I'm like, we're going to have to hoist one of them down, and I'm like, me and Ben already said it's going to be you, dude. I'm like, I'm not doing it. And he's like, whatever, it's your ID days, this is your specialties and stuff like that. Because in all honesty, if they really had to do that shit, they'd probably be telling me, like, you're the small one, you can easily
Dude,
go
how
down
creepy would that be? That's like some hills have eyes
that's what I
shit.
said. I would never go down there because, I don't know, I have a fear of, the sides caving in and shit. Because I'd done
That's your fear?
Dude, I did an electrical job where we were digging the piping down, and there was a part where there's a hill, and they didn't know if they were gonna build through the hill or not, so they just dug all the way through the hill. And so the trench is normally I don't know, a few feet deep. Well, the hill is pretty big, and so by the time they get all the way through, the thing's fucking 10 feet high. And we're laying the pipe in, and just the way that the dirt was sitting there, and you just look up, maybe it's just your brain or something, but I feel like the top is smaller. I'm like, dude. We're that much closer, just being I just imagine it tipping close, and it's like a little pyramid or something in there, and now we're just stuck inside this cavern and forced to live underground with all the Bigfoot and stuff like that. Or
Then
whatever.
you'd have to Just learn how to breed with another male.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. Make
Like, we're gonna
underground
have to
humans.
survive out here.
He's like, no, they'll be here. You're like, no, strip down naked now.
Yeah,
We gotta start now.
You got to get ahead of the game.
it won't work.
Evolution at its finest.
I watched Mr. Mom.
Someone
it will
digs.
work. Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
I know they barely get down in there. It's like a day later. Hey, what the fuck are you guys doing? It's like, I don't even.
He just like looks at him with like these black eyes and runs away.
Oh, it's like half dirt. It's like a worm and shit.
4 arms, 4 legs.
Dude, it'd be like some of that
Breaks out of your
X-Files shit.
chest.
Like in the
Yeah.
X-Files, the movie, when the like kid falls in that hole. It's barely in that fall. There's a skull down here. And like picks up that skull and he's like, and it's like fucking goes into his eyes and shit like that. The little parasites. That's how it'll be, dude.
Dude,
It'll be
from-
down in there. A little parasite will come in there.
For me, it would just be going down there and like, let's say you're going down this pipe and it's about the width of a garbage can. What, like 3 feet wide by 3
Yeah,
feet
maybe,
wide?
yeah.
Maybe that. So you're going down there. You're being hoisted down.
On a
And-
fucking, probably a piece of wood that's about the same diameter with with a big thick rope, maybe with a hole drilled through with a couple knots on the bottom.
Yeah.
Fucking-
And a couple
And that-
dudes pulling you down.
and little things are like popping a little bit. You're like, are you sure this rope's safe? Little twines
like-
popping away.
And then, like, the whole way it's going down, it's hitting the edges. It's like, doom, 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 doom. And then you open up into a cavern, dude. Just huge cavern.
That'd be the worst part.
And
would
it's
be-
black, and all you have is
Stalagmites.
Just
a
imagine that you
road
get down
flare
there
with you.
successfully, right? And you just take a wrong turn and you can't find the rope. You can't look up because you can't see the hole. It's gone.
Oh, yeah, it'd be
because you have to be
completely dark,
perfectly
yeah.
underneath it to even see a
Yeah,
little
flipping with the
shimmer.
light.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then off in the distance, you see like a flickering light. Like, is that
Like eyes looking at you.
like a flame? There's a flame. Someone's been living in the fucking cave, and they've been living off natural materials. So they've been scratching off flint and shit.
You hear something running down there through the water. I'd be like, pull me up. They're like, what? Further down?
Yeah.
You're like, pull me up, God damn it.
He said, "Let go of the rope."
Let go of the rope. You follow 20 feet. Poof, hurt your foot. Ugh.
That's some crazy ass shit. Dude, if they
something
even
running through.
actually, I'm thinking
Glad
about
I
if they were
brought
out
my
doing that.
AR.
Dude, I'd be buying like $1,000 drone and be like, you know, this $1,000 drone down there better than my fucking life, dude. Why? There's just water down there. There could be serpents and things. I mean, my friends talked about it. It's plausible. It's like,
You just drop a GoPro on the strings like ding, 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 ding.
No,
That would be
dude, that
trip
drone
to
With a
see
flashlight tied to it.
That drone would lose connectivity, right?
maybe, yeah.
There's no
Being
way
how
in
thick
hell.
underground
You'd have it
is.
wired. You'd have a wired drone, just a wire hanging from the top of it where it like it can't hit the propellers.
I'll just get a hold of the fucking magic school bus. Be like, jump on the magic school bus. Like, they'll be down there fixing up that thing in no time. All of a sudden, fucking bus opened up underneath there and fucking just
In the
carnage.
pipe.
We're like pumping out fucking blood and bones and shit from all the other people. Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
How's that mission coming in there?
We're to cover this well up.
You know, as humans, I don't think we need water. We're just gonna have to get rid of this shit.
Bury the well. Help! We're down here. Bury the well.
We're still alive. We have
Half of us
supplies.
survived.
That's basically like miners and shit, huh?
Are you dropping rocks on us? Shovels.
We're like describing the miner's life, though, dude. They just
Yeah.
go down on that fucking rickety ass elevator. It's like that show was October Sky. He's like watching as he's like the sun's not even the sun, but like this daylight finally goes away. Gets in the coal mine. Starts,
Big
working.
bad John.
And he just wanted to blow up some rockets,
So
dude.
horrible, dude.
And then they showed him doing that, and I want to be even. I mean, it says based on a true story. I want to know how far actually what they did to do it. Because under my understanding, I thought NASA was mainly made up of Nazis, isn't that? Like,
That's facts, dude.
a lot
Yeah,
of their
mate.
scientists and stuff. I'm
Can't
like,
beat them, join them. You can't blame them, right?
Yeah, back in that day, weren't they like those kids? Was that during the war or was that after the war? Maybe?
I'm not sure.
Both.
October Sky.
All I know is that the hole that's dug into a fucking underground well that's been there for millions of years is a little different than people digging a hole. Because there's no creepy monsters in the cave that the guys are digging coal out of. But there could be some creepy monsters down in the bottom of that water well.
And as they break through an area, oh, whoa! You look at this guy, man.
Hey,
The
look
Mark's
at this
really
cavern
been hitting
here.
it. must be loose dirt. It's like, yeah, hey, there's a cavern over here, boys.
And he turns around, hey guys! Looks back, something's looking at him, grabs him by the face, pulls him in. Only his helmet's there. Ding, 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 ding. His friends come around the corner. Jim, where you at? God damn it, you're supposed to be reporting for lunch. His helmet's there, a little bit of blood on the wall. What the fuck? Pokes his head in there. Jim grabs him by the face too, pulls him in. His helmet's on the ground too. Ding, 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 ding. 2 helmets.
God damn it, Jim, Steven. What are you guys doing? What the hell?
Ding, ding, ding. 3 helmets. 4 helmets. This guy's like collecting helmets, dude. You just go in there. There's like fucking 4 guys tied up, and there's like a monster sitting them all up like stuffed animals at a tea party. They're just like sitting there. And he's like, "All right, join us for tea." It's like a fucking psychotic beast thing down there.
You my precious ones.
And that's the crazy part about that, because we even joke about, Yellowstone, and all this stuff can blow up. Dude, I mean, people, that's even the thing, like, people say they know what's so far down. How the fuck do we know what the fuck is under there,
Dude, when Yellowstone blows, aliens are going to come out of there. We thought lava was our worst enemy.
The aliens are in Antarctica, dude.
Have you seen the freaking lava flows in Hawaii?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of fake at one point, and then I was like, "Is this real?" And then, where it's going fast, the guy's like standing there, and it's like, yeah, that was kind of nuts,
dude. That would be crazy.
And it's crazy too because like
it's a $5,000 fine if you get caught taking pictures of it. They're like selfies with the lava. You go to jail, dude.
A selfie or just a lava?
Selfies.
Why?
Shit.
Because they don't want people near it, because it's like super dangerous right now. It's like unpredictable, and it's going like 15 miles an hour.
It's
a wall
nature,
of lava.
Wait, was that one in Hawaii or was that in Venezuela?
I don't know, but I figured. What is that? You know the Prometheus effect,
like the
where if something is falling in a straight line, people tend to follow the way it's falling till they get squished. It's the Prometheus effect, where it's like the lady's running away from the giant spaceship that's falling. She's running in the shadow of it, so it's like going to kill her, and it eventually does. But people are like, why would you do that? Run to the left, run to the right, get away from the fucking falling. And it was funny. So the other day, I was like filling up the radiator in the truck because I was fixing that shit. Oh, I should probably tell you guys that story. But and then I had the hose, and the hose started to like buckle up because I was holding all the pressure back, and I didn't want to like get water all over the motor. So I'm like, move, Denny. And he moves, and I throw the hose. So, like, the water would, like, uncoil and, like, splash down into the yard. And it's like, the hose is up in the air, and all the pressure's pushing it up. And as the hose is coming down, Denny's trying to run away from the hose, but he's running in the direction that the hose is coming down. It's like, whoosh, big old thing of water. And he's like, why'd you do that? I'm like, I'm like, you're running in the line of the water, man. Like, just all you had to do was take one step to the right, and it would have missed you.
It's his fault all of a sudden. Yeah, you fucker, you didn't move fast enough for my line of bullets. Like,
when I threw it at you, I meant you to dodge it.
No, it's like if a building is falling and you see like a tree and it's falling slowly at you.
Tower 7?
Why would you run away from it? It's like, oh no. When all you have to do is like,
Just like I seen a guy do that with a tree. They were cutting down trees. And he's like, look out. And the guy just happened to be walking. It was bad time. He's like,
oh, I just see that. It's
probably
a yellow helmet.
Yeah, he's like, it wasn't that big of a tree, but it was like this solid fucking trunk part. So it probably broke enough bones in his body that he didn't want to walk.
Fucking gravity, dude.
But like that's kind of interesting too, because with dude, I wonder if that is just like it's the same. I wonder if that mentality when you have like a plane fly over your head,
and
you're like, whoa, deer in the headlights, down, and your instincts. Because what would that happen? Like in the woods, back in the tree falls down. Like even now, when buildings blow up, if you look at like Tower 7, it just goes straight down. It's like,
trees don't go straight down though.
But think about
that'd be so
nothing
awesome.
ever does though. It's like fucking utter chaos most of the time when shit happens. It's like a fucking building comes down. It's like you'd be like running. You're like fucking barely. Say you make it out of there because you're fast as fuck, Usain Bolt style, and make it past the shadow. You see you're out of the shadow, so you know you're good, and it like just crushes right behind you like some badass movie. There's an explosion, so you just start fucking walking. One of the cinder blocks
hits you right.
Yeah, one of the cinder blocks was like boom, takes your head off. You're just like fucking a corpse standing there, blood squirting out.
Dude, it's like the picture of the guy in Pompeii. Did you see that?
The one that's like...
No, the one where the cinder block hit him in the back of the head. The 300-pound block of stone hit the dude in the back of the head.
No, I've been to Pompeii. And that's cool.
It's just like something they just barely found, but it's this huge, like, basically rectangular block, like 6 feet long, 3 by 3 feet wide, and it hit some dude in the back of the head as he was running away from the volcano.
Yeah, because they have like
I'm gonna make it.
dude, they have,
I can see the boat.
all the mummies they have are like that, dude. Like not like that. That one's fucked in. That's like good timing. All of them are like curled up with their arms up and shit. Like they, like the lava.
They're holding
shit
each other and
rolled
shit.
over them. Yeah, like a lot of them, like because they tried everything was fucked up, so they just tried to reenact it, I guess. So like some of the rooms they've even rebuilt to make it kind of look like what it would look like. Yeah, and then when you finally get to the mummies, it's just a bunch of little tiny people like look like it just all of a sudden they. Now you're saying like look at the window. They hear the rooster crowing. It's early already. It feels like it feels like 3 in the morning.
Lava.
Opens up his. I imagine there's no windows, so probably just pulls a cloth out of the way and just sees that river of lava just heading his way.
There's got to be some sort
Cheryl?
of wooden like windshield. He'd be like, "Oh, Zeus Almighty."
It just like all of it hits the side and just like a solid tube or square
Of lava.
It looks like square Play-Doh when you push it through the little things like of lava. It's like.
Fills his house.
That's how I imagine at least the smoke or the soot what we'll see from like Yellowstone.
Did you see the dude that was like last moments died happy or whatever, where he was like laying down and his hand was on his groin, he was beating it, and they're like, this guy must have died in the fucking heat of the moment. He's like, 2 more seconds.
Yeah, right. I wish he's like, someone's going to laugh. I know it.
He's like sitting there. It's like the lava's at the door. Not yet. 5 minutes, please.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
And the knocking noise is actually his door burning from the other side.
It's like buckling.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Give me a fucking minute. God damn it.
Yeah.
Poof, burst
There's
through.
nowhere
I
in
said,
all of
oh
Pompeii
shit.
someone can shit in peace. That'd be so funny.
Do that.
We joke. That's the worst part. Is like if this happened if this happened last year, people would be like too soon. Oh
yeah.
But this is like 1,000 years ago, dude. And it'd be surprising to ask how many people would be like, "Do you talk about Pompeii?" They'd be like, "What? Like,
What's Pompeii?
Yeah, what is that kind of?" Oh, I guess they've seen the movie now, but it's kind of funny how that goes.
The movie starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah, it's how it would be in there. No, didn't they? The movie had fucking Jon Snow in it or
Can't stop
something.
laughing.
Didn't it?
It's too
I think
good.
it did. Yeah.
I don't know.
You just imagine lava rolling through town like a pack of good old boys or something, just fucking the place up. I said 1 minute. It's like, open the door. It's like lava comes through.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Surprise.
It's just like glowing through like the windows and stuff like that. They probably can't be like watching TV or whatever, so they're probably watching like plants grow.
He's
Sunrise.
literally got like a TV, but the center's cut out. There's like a flower in there growing. They're just sitting in the living room watching the flower. Lava takes everybody out.
Maybe there's got to be a couple guys that probably had a good experiences. The guy probably walked out of a brothel, he's like comes out of there and there's so much lava coming, it's kind of bright, and he's like, "Damn, I fucked all night." Hell yeah! Like walking lava takes them all out. Literally, it's only like 5 minutes later. Just there's so much lava, it was so bright and stuff. It's just like, that's the worst part though, is because you could probably go with a million stories like that, and with fucking disaster,
A
especially
couple of them are
one
gonna be right.
Yeah, and man, with that, like those whole disasters,
Like the soldier.
so many people would be like that.
I'll defend the city. Taken out by lava.
Imagine having that one house that was outcasted in Pompeii, but the lava didn't get to it.
Oh, that'd be so funny.
And that was his position that night.
at me.
Yeah, I told them. I
like-
told them the city was unsafe.
It's like that the morning before. It's like 12 hours earlier. Mm-hmm. Jim, you're going to get District 1. Oh, I hate District 1. Nothing ever happens in District... Sorry, man. Your time. He's out there in District 1. Place is so boring.
Oh, I wish everybody
rest-
just fucking died. I'm going to bed. Fuck this.
Wakes up, the whole city's underground.
I made my family disappear.
I started writing. He wrote a book from that. He's like, "You must be careful what you wish for." It's like ever since then.
He wrote a song. Be careful what you wish for.
You better count your money.
I don't know, that whole like natural disaster stuff, it would be crazy because I remember even seeing Mount St. Helens. We went to there when I was way little, and they had like fucking cars and shit on the side of the house and things like that. They were still there, stuck in like, I guess, lava, dirt or whatever, and it was almost for them too. Next thing you know, their houses are gone, everyone's gone. It's like And the recent one that was kind of more up there when you seen the videos of it, they're like driving around the forest fire and shit, and it's like look like you're in hell. You know, the trees and everything are like falling. It's like flames like flying. It's like
Oh, that shit's so nuts.
Dragons
Last
just
year,
spewing
right?
fire.
yeah. That'd be a trip, dude. But then you can go back to with it being alien invasions, all that kind of stuff. Even any one of them, I feel like we'll get a parasite off it. Dragon fly by, burning them. We're like, we're safe here. We're safe in this side. A fucking big old like bomb breaks through the house. It's like boom, covered in this weird
Just
like
takes me out with a big 300-pound stone.
there's just a hole in the ground. You're kind of covered with this weird like kind of acidy. Like it's kind of burning. And you're, oh man, it's like the thing just took a hot shit, you know? And so now you got a parasite from it. Now you got a dragon parasite. Now you become like a little horned boy. A goat. It's like
a horned goat boy. Like, do you think back in the like medieval times when a wildfire would occur, they would think it was like a dragon that burnt the field? Like, let's say you came up across the field that was just all burnt.
If you think we're conspiracy theorists, I bet you those motherfuckers had a fucking random ass story for everything that happened.
Like, just imagine rolling up onto a village that a wildfire
You
took
get an
out.
allergic reaction. Oh man, someone fucking has it out for you, man. They're doing magic spells on you.
allergic reaction. You've been possessed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what is it?
Well,
Poison.
Doesn't matter, you're dead.
I was watching a show
wonder
called
what
Lore, and they talk about like ancient lures or common lores that people believed in. And I guess in England there was this one called the fairy takers or some shit like that. And they would say, like, let's say you went out on a jog or whatever, and you came back acting weird.
Why'd you point at Brick, dude? The fairy takers?
Yeah, well, they're fairies that take people, and the fairies, like, when they take you, they pretend to be you, so they'll come back to your house pretending to be you, trying to take more of your family members.
Snap.
Just up in the trees.
And the way it would happen was, like, they would think that, let's say, like, Brick goes out on a hike or whatever, and comes back, and he's just exhausted. Maybe he's even got an ear infection or something happened, right? So someone's like, hey, Brick, and he's just sitting there, like, can't hear him, he's fucking around with his ear, and they're like, hey, Brick. Doesn't answer again. Maybe doesn't answer the third time. What's wrong with Brick? Why is he not answering to his name? You know what I mean? Now they're going to be like, oh, he was fucking taken, and whoever this is isn't really Brick. It's a like a fake of him. So then people would make you drink. They'd make these like
Drink my piss.
no,
The flavor is hearty.
they'd make them out of this like flour that if you made it concentrated enough, it was basically like drinking poison.
Yeah.
So they would have like the family members, you have to drink this, and most people would be like, no, I don't want to drink that, because most people who drink it don't come back, they die. And they're like, oh, you just don't want to drink it because
If they drink
you're
my
not
piss,
really Brick.
if they drink my
Then why
piss,
don't
they'd
you
come back to
drink it?
life, dude.
Well, I'm fine. You're the one that didn't answer to your name, so then they'd fucking hold your ass down and force drink it to you.
Dude. Or they could be like, hey, it worked. You drink it and then you get sick off it. And you're like, God, I feel better, but I feel sick. And they're, oh, we know how to feel this sickness. We'll lance you. And this is where they fucking cut a little bit of your body and let you bleed out the bad blood. Fucking.
Oh, dude.
Most people would die from that shit.
What do they call it?
They're
Bloodletting.
Bloodletting, yeah. And you just get a little poke and then you sit there. I feel like I'm dying. You'll be fine tomorrow. And next thing, yep, he died from the demons. It's like fucking,
What about the giant pot of blood next to him?
it was the bad blood. We didn't get it out in time.
Not enough of it.
And they start drinking it. Because that's got to be a thing, even when you hear about people doing vampire, all that kind of stuff. You hear about cannibals and stuff. And with those being folklores that went around so long, I almost wonder if there was just a clique of humans that kind of, like, you know, like
Went around and
cannibals.
did it?
Yeah, and maybe fell along that allure more, where they actually maybe did eat people or do whatever. And like you're saying, you know, the conspiracies ran through. They fly through the night, you know, and he got him, you know. He turned into a bat. He was all over.
It was the best time to be alive if you were a cannibal, a murderer, you know.
Dude, oh my
just
God.
a serial killer,
Picking up chicks,
whatever
dude,
you
just
wanted to
bust
do.
into a barn. What happened? I just slayed a vampire's maiden. He's after me now, but I need to lay safe for the night. Next thing, oh my goodness. Stay with me, you mighty warrior. Is it just you, or may I take you and your sister? You may take us both. It's like, no, there wasn't even a vampire, dude. And he's like, oh, and he runs to the next town. I must go fight battles next town, you know? I bet people do that
Then
shit
that's
all
how
the
you
time.
became a legend, Sir Lancelot.
Yeah, it's like, I'm the fairest of all the maidens. It's like,
Maidens, that's a woman.
wench, whatever. No, it's like,
Whatever you, I'm illiterate.
yeah. I don't know what books are. It's like, because even then, how far did you go down those? But because that would be the not the best, but that would be the way you could be like a magician or an alchemist to anybody that hadn't read or done anything like that. You know, you could outsmart them.
By far, dude.
Like, dude, think about it. Even in deals and stuff like that, where you'd have like, say, someone. It's like those old stories of like James and the Beanstalk or whatever. We'd got like. He had like the one bean thing or whatever, and he's like, "I'll trade you that."
Jack and the Beanstalk.
For the cow.
Jack and the and he's
James
like, "I'll trade you."
giant
Yeah,
peach.
but there's like 20 beans in there, you know, whatever, and one's magic or they're magic or whatever. And
3
but I only
beans.
had one cow, and he's like, and you know, in real life, it wasn't a magic bean. That'd have been like, bitch. It was only 3 beans.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's even worse deal. But
Still better. 3 for 1.
They're
3 for
magic.
1.
Good.
And the cow won't be anywhere. You know, he'll be fine. You know, we can go back and talk to him. Maybe get a little juice from him.
Yep. Bloodlet him. I think if you mix a little bit of cow's blood with some of its milk, that makes a pretty good,
A little energy shot.
pretty good little energy
Clamato.
shot. I think don't
That's
they
what-
do that in like the Middle East or something?
That's what the Mongols did.
They
They
used
did it
to?
with their horses and shit. They would like.
Oh, that's right.
They'd only like ride females and shit, and then they'd like cut them a little bit and mix the blood in, a little blood and a little milk in there.
All right, everybody, we've got
A little strawberry shortcake.
Do we got a guest caller? Nope. They hung up on us.
He just swipes.
He's like, swipe.
He did not. They just declined
Cancel that. We were going to have a guest caller, Barack Obama, but he didn't answer. Apparently,
Too
doesn't
fucked
like
up
our
to
company.
call, yeah. Too
Too
fucked
fucked
up
up
to-
to call.
But hopefully, we will have the Lundenberg, because that I always enjoy that stuff. I mean,
Or at least a new version, if we could. I'd say we could do a new version of the Lundenberg, something different,
follow in, because
a little bit more sharpened around the edges.
structure. Well,
Structured, there's the right word.
cause I like the free flowing format too. That is one thing I will say that.
No, I like that too, but I'm just saying, like, maybe a little bit better quality.
Cause that's the thing. I'll give it up too, because like that's one thing with Snow. Like we just do it randomly, and so yeah, like it is kind of random or whatever. But we don't follow any rules, which is nice. And so
I like that too. It's
we have
fun.
a Lost Minds version of what would be, I guess, Dungeons and Dragons, or even what are those? I've seen another board game similar to it. Is like Knights of Ragnar or something. I think it's called, or like.
Never heard of it.
Dang it, something. But it comes in a similar thing. It's like a board game, comes in a card game, almost like if it was a cross between Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering, somewhere in between, where you can kind of have stuff set up to kind of visualize and then still play like the.
Yeah,
Which would be cool, you know. That
it would be pretty neat.
and that's why I like the Lundenberg. That's why it would be cool. That I mean, it doesn't have to be, but we've already set a world, you know. And it'd be cool to keep that world going and stuff, because that's always.
World's End.
It depends, though. If you look at like Marvel, though, you connect every universe, and one universe touches another one, and this world.
I mean, everything's touching everything in one way or another.
You're touching me right now. Get your hand.
That was a metaphor.
It's like,
It's like, get your filthy hands off of me, you damn dirty.
what was that off of? When like it was a movie.
Planet
Like,
of the Apes.
no, when he's like, oh, he's like, no, or maybe it was the School of Rock or something. He's like, I work with these children or whatever, and he's like, I've touched your. He's like, your children have touched me, and I'm pretty sure I've touched them too. And then I was like, wait, that came out wrong. Because you had to think about that shit back in the day, dude. A parent or like a teacher could grab you by the ear, put you in the corner, fucking whack you with the ruler, put a hat on you. Oh, this is the dunce. They're the stupid one in class.
Dude, I actually remember
You
a
do
teacher
any
who
of
had a
that
beaten
shit?
stick, dude.
I remember them saying that. I never had seen
Like,
it.
I've seen it. What it was like, looked like a row for like a boat. What are they called?
Like a paddle?
Yeah, like a paddle, except it didn't have the long arm piece. It was like cut down to just a very little snub, like a nub, and then it had the big old paddle piece.
It's like a sex toy. You went in the wrong classroom.
Dude, maybe,
Like,
but
ding, 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 class in session.
when
boys.
we come in, we had to bend over on the freaking table and whoosh, take one for a lesson. That way, when we were sitting down, we knew we were sitting down.
Yeah, and the lesson was to turn around. Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Whoosh. Usually, if you could take 3, you could get an A for the day. I could take 6.
It's more of a, you just go in the classroom, and instead of it being like that, it's like those people in the Middle East that do those whip fighting, where they like smack themselves in the back with those whip chains things and like cut themselves. Have you seen that shit?
Wait, aren't those like monks or something?
I'm not sure what they are, but just take those people. But imagine with this paddle, so you just walk into a classroom with all these little kids, slapping their own asses or whatever. What's this? Detention.
Oh shit!
It's like some liar shit when they come in there. What the hell are you doing? I'm kicking my own ass. It's like,
Dude, that's what I never understood when they were like, go to detention. I'm like, fuck, dude, this is going to be hell. Like, I imagined it. You're doing me walking into a room barefoot on Legos and tacks and shit. And you're going to be in there. And it's like, no, dude, you just walk in and do whatever the fuck you want for an hour.
Yeah, I remember the first time I got in trouble and they gave me one of those little citations when I was in junior high. And I was like, seventh grade or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, detention.
Basically end of the world.
Yeah, and when I was in sixth grade, I was a little shithead. But when you're in sixth grade, at least for our school district, that was the end of elementary. And so you're the kind of the top dogs. And so it's like, fuck it, you can do whatever. So when you come junior high, I felt like a little peon again. And I'm like, oh my God, And then I remember getting the citation for being a smartass. And then I ended up going over to that place, and I was the only one that went there. And the lady that was there, she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, oh, how's it going? She's like, you here to do your thing? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh, this is perfect. She's like, yeah, no, it's pretty easy when we only do 15 minutes because no one's here or whatever. And she's like, you can do whatever. I mean, I'm not sure about...
It was for me, too. You just sat there and did nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think they had a phone. Like, they didn't have phones at the time, so I don't think they would have maybe let us do that. But they're like, yeah,
I just got naked and ran around. The teacher's like, what are you doing? I'm like, you're looking at me!
I used to fucking read skateboard magazines, so I probably had just a skateboard magazine. And it was funny after that. I just remembered, I'm like, dude, if you get in trouble, you don't have to come back to this stupid-ass class. So I never did. But I did get in trouble.
Oh, you never went back to the detention?
No, I just gave up on it. Everyone else did. And I mean, and that's the other thing, too. It was never really like a form of a punishment and stuff. Sometimes there's a lot of the schools. I remember that school did that shit to me. We ended up doing... I can't remember what it was, but they ended up taking our privileges and so we had for like a whole week had to use our lunch to go pick up trash. Fucking right when I leave the lunchroom, I walk over to the trash can right on the other side of the building. Fucking fill that fucking bag up from the trash in the trash can. Fucking run up to the office. Oh my gosh, you guys already filled that bag up? Yup. Fucking where did you get all the trash? In the corner over by the thing where all of it blows. Hell no, dude. I just loaded up and then closed the nearest trash can. I was like...
So you took your little fucking rat bag.
Yeah, and they're like, you're in trouble. You're going to spend the whole recess cleaning up trash. I'm like, the fuck I am. There's a trash can right here that's got it all in one place. I'm fucking... have it. One of them I even just swapped it out.
Genius,
I was
dude.
like, here you go.
If I was a teacher and I seen you do that, I'd be like...
It's like, what are you doing?
You're double fucking grounded or whatever.
Yeah.
Double detention for you for a month in the Iron Maiden.
I'm changing the garbage. I would just like to have a clean school, Wish we had a clean way to learn and study and grow as human beings in our young age. And, I want to blossom into a bright flower.
Imagine if they had like Iron Maidens and shit where they'd put you in it, lock you in the thing.
Dude, it's like some hot tank out in the middle of the fucking middle of the field. Well, oddly enough, dude, I was over at...
Joke's on you, teachers. This is when the sprinklers come on. It's like...
what is it? Not the golf course, but it's... Maybe I was actually at the church when I was selling the truck. That's what it was. Because I was at the church when I was selling the truck, the one that was right behind it or whatever, and so I was meeting the people there. And I always joke about that school because when we left it, we didn't have fucking walls. It was an empty warehouse, basically, and they upgraded it, put walls and stuff. Now they have all the playgrounds. But I noticed they ripped out all the other shit, like all the goals, all the goalposts. They have one area that kind of has them, but then like some of the baseball stuff, everything's moved. And I don't know if maybe the kids don't play with them or maybe they don't use them or something, but I was kind of curious about that. Within 10 years, I wonder, even with video games and things, people doing stuff like that, or I wonder if they even have a wall of toys and shit they check out, or if they do any of that stuff, or if kids, want to, I'm sure they let them run to the computer lab for lunch, They did in junior high and high school.
Yeah, I think in elementary school I was allowed to run to the computer lab.
See, that's what, and they're so much better now.
Except I think I had like a weird form of ADD, so like I'd like look at the computer screen and we were only allowed to read books or whatever, something about frogs. And I remember all I would do is stare at the screen till all the letters became black like squares. And the spaces between each word, it'd become like a highlighted white area. And the spaces between the top line and the bottom line would also become like a highlighted white area. And I'd just play a maze with my mouse. So I'd just be like, trying to get to the bottom. And the teacher came up to me and was like, what are you doing?
That's why they thought you were smart, huh? Because the teacher looked at your books and all these weird lines going through them. They're like, oh my God, why has he got his lines through? Why is there lines while you're reading? Don't you read between the lines?
That's deep. Yeah. Mariana's Trench deep.
Yeah. So, did your mama's ass cracked you? Because about that time, you had your mama jokes. Those were big back then, dude. And
Yo
just like-
mama.
Just like it goes through, where kids would play fucking Pokemon cards or play with Pogs or play with freaking
I never played
yo-yos.
with Pogs. I had some, but I never knew what the fuck to do with them.
Yeah, I never played them. I collected them. I collected the weird thing, and I think one kid tried to explain it to me one time to play it or something, and they had like the steelies, and like, well, I slam them down, or like you hit yours, and it flips them up, and about that far into it, I was like, I don't want you smashing my cool looking ones though. I'm
Yeah.
collecting these things here, man. I was like,
I'm a collector,
good.
not a fucking breaker.
Collector.
collecting your jar of hearts.
I never collected Pogs. The only thing I got into was Yu-Gi-Oh cards and a little bit of Pokemon, and then I ended up losing all of them when I went with my dad on a road trip. Lost everything. I left it. I left it in his truck, and then we came back to Utah, and his truck got, I think it was towed or some shit because it was the motor went out, and the guy that owned the truck, the company, sold the truck, and with all of the shit still inside of it, and I lost everything. So I went back and I fucking threw eggs at his house. Just kidding, I didn't do that.
Two to the chest and one in the face.
Yeah, he just
Yep.
sleeping and drops a freaking brick on his face.
I just come sliding down a rope, looking like Splinter Cell because that's what the cool thing was back then.
Oh yeah, Splinter Cell was a shit.
Climb through the window,
You're just hanging above a door, and they're like,
even though you're there in broad daylight.
Well, actually, they were actually a little better than Solid Snake and freaking Metal Gear Solid. Some of the guys, and something barely.
I
even
think I
noticed
saw
it.
that box move.
It's almost like the AI in real life now. When you be walking, some that have their faces in their phones, and you're just like walk right by them. You can even tap them on the shoulder. Look around. What was that? And they wouldn't even notice. They'd be-
yeah.
I see a
might as well
lot of
have
those AI drivers, dude.
Fucking AI, I know.
They're just not even paying attention to the road, going 10, 15 miles below the fucking speed limit.
That would be a good,
Going
like,
through the motions.
what is it called? A good, like a public fucking test, Like if you just wore a jumpsuit and a good makeup artist make-uped you up all nice and well, and you just stood up against the building.
With
And then
just your wiener
amount
hanging
of-
out?
Well, the amount of people that would walk by just looking
Okay.
at their phones and
Yeah,
then just
that's what I was
jump out
thinking.
and grab them.
Oh, dude! I bet you could. They did that kind of on Jackass with like Wee Man when they painted him like his mom, the mom's like corner piece of the
Oh, yeah.
downstairs. It wasn't even like that good, but
Well,
no
yeah,
one
but
fucking
in
noticed
public,
it.
how people just walk around with their faces in their phones,
Dude, I bet you could.
Do
if-
like a tree one or something.
Dude,
like
I
a
bet if
flower
there was like a
pot.
black wall, you could just put a black clothes on, not even matching black clothes, and I bet you could pull that shit off. I bet you.
Yeah,
could
but it'd be funnier if it was bright as day. Like, if you looked at me, you'd look at
What if we did it
I
in
just
an
think that
alleyway and we
people
just
that-
like lured people into it
and
and
we
then
stole their money.
Dude, the people are so dumb though. You don't have to
Yeah.
look. Like even them, like I think people would be so absorbed. You don't even have to have the costume on, and you could do that kind
Yeah,
of
but
stuff.
that'd
You
be
could put
dumb.
cones. I bet. Oh my god, that would be a social experiment. Like get on one side of the alleys, one of those ones in Utah where kind of people, like the one where the City Creek is, and they head down there, have it kind of go, but then just start fucking giving it a little bit of a curve like this, just down
And
the
just-
way, and just see if people kind of follow it, or if they'll walk straight.
that would be funny. Like funnel people into an alley and have them walk down the alleyway. Just like put detour signs, like sidewalk closed or whatever, and just like watch them go into the back alley and there's just a dead end there.
But yeah, I was gonna say that
Just
like
have
a
a
bunch of
serial killer
mazes,
in
like a
there.
dead end and shit. They're like, oh.
It'd be even funnier if we set up a little table and we're playing poker. So they come like, what the fuck? Welcome. We noticed
a
you
seat.
followed the... Take a seat.
If they'll just pull up GPS on their phone right there. Fucking
Turn around.
yeah, walk
Walk up
like,
the
how are
wall.
they getting out of here and stuff like that. The AI thinks for them, and it realized that it has Google Maps right next to the app Snapchat, so it clicked onto it. It's like fucking walk out of there. Because now we don't have to remember numbers or any of that stuff. We just that's it.
You drinking water
Yeah,
over
I was
there?
waiting for it and wasn't even
Yeah,
that.
I thought you were going...
Wasn't even that.
There it is.
Must not have been.
Must not have been the best smart water he's had all day.
Yeah, it actually really wasn't that refreshing. But I guess we can go get some more water. Yeah,
I think I'm going to get something to eat, too. I'm fucking starving.
Let's get some pizza.
Let's do it.